House Bill 1182.
Make a motion.
Okay.
Move
Cool.
it passed.
All right, we got a motion. Is there a second? The one you missed yesterday. We need a second. Second. All those in favor, this is 1182 that was a tie yesterday. All those in favor, raise your hand of that. You're opposed to it? Now, okay, you told me yesterday you weren't. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right, motion fails, it looks like.
I think it's gonna be 3 and 3, and you're gonna break the tie.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do it again. Sure, let's talk about it.
I don't mind the fight.
You're up if you want to.
All right. Let me pull it up.
Okay, I tell you what, we'll go on to the next one because there seems to be confusion on that. We've got a bill that Amphitarte's worked on, but he's not here, so I guess we'll go on to Matt Reeves. You want to come up? All right, so you have, we've got your bill here. I think you've got a sub. I don't know if that's been handed out, an amendment that would let it apply to all the counties instead of just a third of them. Has that amendment been handed out?
It is not, and if I could explain.
Well, can you hand it out and where people can read it while you're explaining it would be the best way. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1019, which was Speaker of the House's idea to increase the state minimum homestead, has two changes. In Code Section 48.544, it increases the state minimum homestead from $2,000 to $4,000, and then it has a ballot question to effectuate that change. So it's two very simple changes. We heard loud and clear what you said, that you wanted more tax relief, and I know that's being discussed at length, but this is a different statute, and it's a different issue, as the Chairman of Appropriations eloquently pointed out. This is the floor in state law, which has existed since 1978. This would increase the floor from $2,000 to $4,000. At the county level, there are numerous counties that are still at the minimum level, but there are also cities and school districts that have that minimum level also. So this increases the state minimum for all jurisdictions from 2 to 4. The Georgia Chamber of Commerce has endorsed the bill, and it passed unanimously in the House, and it was the Speaker's initiative. Since the last committee, ACCG drafted the amendment, or the sub that is in front of you, as an idea. They heard what you said about wanting more tax relief, and they said instead of increasing the state minimum from 2 to 4, what you have in front of you increases all homesteads by $2,000. Now, that was going to go on a different House bill that has already passed the committee. So that is one option, just to put that in House Bill 1019. So just change the bill number on that, and that would effectuate that change. But what I would request you to do is increase that state minimum homestead that has existed since 1978, either increasing the minimum from 2 to 4, or do what ACCG has given the form to do, and they're neutral on this, but they said if what you want is to increase everybody by 2,000, all 159 counties as well as cities and school districts by $2,000, the language that is before you would effectuate that as well. So this is a different issue than other discussions that are being had on floating homesteads. This would increase the floor, and it's something that has broad-based support. Also, counties, cities, and school districts, there was no opposition to it in the House, so it's been circulated. It has broad support, and it would increase the floor of Homestead in Georgia, and I respectfully request your support for the speaker's idea, which I'm proud to present to you. Thank you.
Okay, so that's not a statewide. We're seeing a technical issue here because you're amending a House bill with a House resolution, is she saying?
That House resolution was a different bill. That sub was drafted for a different bill, but the language within that sub, you could put that in House Bill 1019. That's if you want to add 2,000 to everybody. That draft in front of you, the language would effectuate that. We suggest just increase the state minimum in code section 48.544 from 2 to 4. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you want to do more, that draft in front of you, if you apply it to House Bill 1019, that would add 2,000 to every homestead. But again, the simplest way to increase the floor is use House Bill 1019 as it's drafted and filed, which increases the statewide homestead from 2 to 4.
Okay, well, opinion of Ledge Council here is that you're amending the state constitution on the House bill and that they don't think that'll work. So we're gonna have to,
And
we're gonna have to
again,
do that differently if that's what we want to do.
And that draft, that was not ours, but that is an observer who said if you want to increase 2,000 for everybody, that's one way to do it. Our request.
It's a way to do it, but it's on a HR, which now that HR is not available. It's already passed out.
Our bill before you, House Bill 1019, changes it from 2 to 4. We request to do that.
All right.
And if you want to add 2
All
to
right.
everybody, that's the way to do
I gotta keep going.
it.
I know what you're saying. Senator Albers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Representative Reeves. My concern with adding just 2,000 across the board would be is those city, counties, or schools who were already given significant tax relief, we would almost in that case penalize them, even though I love to give more people more tax relief because they certainly need to keep more of their own money. But it seems to be inconsistent with the proposed amendment as opposed to the original thought. If we were going to go through with the original bill, I would just think we should raise it more than $4,000. I'd like to see it go to $10,000 or even more than that.
And one of the senators asked, pass this word back to the speaker, and we respect the process. If you want to add more than 2, put in there what you think the local county, city, and school would absorb. 2,000 passed unanimously, had no opposition, but if there's a higher number in there, now's the time to do it. It's been on the books for a long time in that floor. It's time to raise it, and we would request your support in doing so.
And you said what year was the $2,000 minimum set?
1978, when the average house cost $55,000.
Thank you.
All right. Mic number 2 over there. I believe that's.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Reeves. I asked you a question last time there wasn't an answer to because this would not apply to your home county, my neighboring county.
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you the same question. If this were to pass, have you done the math for your own, for Gwinnett County taxes to see what the impact would be?
Sure. Gwinnett right now is at 4. We have a referendum to increase everybody to 8 and then to give additional homestead to law enforcement, school, hospital, and active duty military personnel. So that'd be 10,000 for a subset of the population. So Gwinnett is one of those counties on the school portion where we're already above the state minimum. However, there are some cities in Gwinnett who are at the state minimum, and then the county portion has a value offset exemption. So we have 3 different things in Gwinnett.
Gotcha.
But the number you gave earlier about, or at the last meeting about the millage rate, if you live in a city, you've got school, county, and city, so you've got to multiply that times each. So, and it's forever. This thing's been on the books since 1978. So whatever tax relief you deliver in this will be there long-term for every jurisdiction that goes by the state minimum. So again, this is an increase in the floor, and it's something that is important to providing some tax relief. It's part of the equation. I appreciate the additional work that y'all are doing.
I'm going to do the math right now. So you said it was 1970?
Yes.
$2,000 in 1970, according to this online calculator, is $8,500 today. So it certainly needs to be increased. And Chairman Albers, you weren't that far off in your rough number. If you want to make it, if you want to give it parity to well, that's actually 1979. You said it's 1970.
70, yeah. I think it's a little higher.
And-
you,
and
you,
the
you
wor-
put the Carter years in there, and this thing really jumps up. So it's $15,996. Yeah.
All right, well, I don't see any other questions. I think trying to do it on amending the Constitution, that's out at least for today. And I'm not sure of another vehicle anyway on that. So if we want
We have a
offer something.
statute in front of you, and on the amount, I've been given word to pass back, do the work of the Senate. We did the work in the House, and whatever number you think is appropriate, we'll take a close look at it.
that's fine.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend the bill on line 19 and on line 24, where currently underlined is $4,000, and we'll make that $10,000, even though I'd love to include the Carter and Biden years, which would have taken it way higher, but we're going to take those off and just keep them at $10,000, thanks to the good math by Chairman Dolezal.
All right, we've got well, I guess first we have to have a motion on the bill.
Oh, and I'm sorry, one more. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll move to pass.
Okay, we got a motion. Is there a second? Second, so now we can do the amendment again.
Okay, the amendment on lines 19, on lines 24, and again on lines 40, all the numbers that currently read 4,000 would be changed to 10,000.
Got a second on that? Any discussion? All in favor? No discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? I believe that's unanimous. All right, maybe you're done over here.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we just did the amendment, I guess. Did I do both of them? Yeah, I didn't vote on the underlying bill yet, so that was just the amendment. So on the bill itself, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, opposed? None opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. We've got House Bill 170. If you want to speak to that.
I just want to sit here so I can at least listen.
I don't know if we want to let you sit there or not, you know.
This is a fine piece of bill here, a fine piece of legislation.
All right. Do I need to turn this mic off for you? Is that what I did? Okay. All right. You're on currently right now.
So this, what used to be a fine bill, House Bill 170 by Representative Carpenter, basically we're replacing his language with what was formerly Senate Bill 344 that we voted out of this committee, basically creating a sales tax holiday for hunters in October with a June 30th, 2029 sunset. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So this is what we had passed out before, correct? Okay. I don't know if we need any discussion now. I think everybody's going to vote how they're going to vote on it, but we can have discussion if you want it. Senator Estevez.
I just want to make sure that the author did not change his mind on my offer to focus this on hunting and the hunting community by adding in language that limits these purchases to those related to hunting.
No, to my response to my dear friend from Atlanta, no, we currently address hunting, and I think maybe in October you and I are going to go shopping, and we're going to take advantage of the sales tax holiday.
All right. Any other discussion? Let me make sure we pull it out here. This would be LC number 500856S.
That's correct.
Senator Estevez,
Sure.
what other purpose would a person buy ammunition for, Senator, other than hunting? Legal use of ammunition.
I think that's a discussion that we can talk about and maybe have the CDC and all kinds of other organizations come through and walk us through data on what ammunition and firearms are used for in this country way too often. But I do appreciate this body's work and this panel's work on passing legislation that had a narrow exemption for gun safes, trigger locks. And I certainly hope that passes through the General Assembly generally. So thank you, Mr. Leader.
All right, any other discussion? We did have a motion and a second, didn't we? I believe. We don't, okay, then we need to have a motion and a second. Well, I need the first before the second.
Motion to pass.
All right, we've got a motion from Senator Dolezal, a second from Senator Hickman. All in favor of this, raise your hand. Okay, and opposed? Three opposed, motion carries. Congratulations, Representative Carpenter, on your fine success.
I will become a legend in North Georgia once again. Thank you very much.
Welcome back.
All right, Representative, let's see what we're gonna do here. Yes, Representative Newton here. Come on up, if you would. This preceptor credit had passed out last year. I don't think it made it through rules. Different things got added on. This one didn't. So give us your bill number, your LC number, and present it to the committee.
308, it's LC 500820S. I believe you all have it. This is really a Senate substitute. It does correct some things that were brought up in our previous committees. Once again, this preceptor tax credit bill is the way most of our medical schools, Emory, Mercer, Morehouse, Medical College, it's the way they train to get the clinical rotations, and especially in our rural areas, to get the students out of maybe a metro area where those schools might be, and to get them into the homes, to the locations around Georgia, and they get valuable clinical experience with people actually in practice. So it's a great way that we train our third and fourth year medical students, our PAs, and our nurse practitioners. This bill just allows us to continue the tax credit with a few changes. It's been going on several years, and it's a crucial role. We're going to add dentists. It just recognizes the need for our dentists to have preceptor rotations as well, often across Georgia. I know my youngest son just got back from a few weeks in Americus doing a surgery rotation. I know it's a great way to get in Mike Chokas's district, and so he got to visit with people down there. It's a great way to for them to see the rest of Georgia as well. So that's we would add dentists on line 24, and then on line 49 there is a cap that's been added. I think it's been between $2 and $3 million is the most that's ever been turned in a year. We did allow the amount of the aggregate amount to go up to $6 million. Realistically, about a third of the preceptors end up not turning those in, even after they're approved and they do the work and they have the rotations. They either don't turn them all in, or they just forget about the fact that we offered a tax credit. So it never really will get to that. If they approve that many, it'd be surprising to get up to $4 million. But that's but that does get us to where, like all our tax credits, we want to have both a sunset and a cap. And then if you go into the last of the bill in line 81, you'll see that we put a sunset. Currently, it would expire in 2026. This would put us till 2025. So that's the bill. I have, if there are questions or want to know more details, we do have people who can.
Well,
which y'all have already heard it once.
We've heard the bill. We passed it. You've changed the date on it to 29. So Senator Hickman.
Thank you, Representative, for bringing this. A little dense on this. Explain to me what a medical preceptor rotation is.
It's typically a 1 month long rotation in various specialties. It could be internal medicine, hospitalist medicine, surgery, vascular surgery, orthopedics, pediatrics, really, and they go spend a month. Typically, it's a month-long rotation that the doctor, OBGYN is one as well. They spend a month, and they basically, it's kind of like a version of residency, but you're junior to that. You're a junior or senior medical student in your third or fourth years of your clinical training. Much of your training will be done in a tertiary care center where you learn some of the sickest of the sick and some of the most challenging problems, say at Grady or at the Medical College of Georgia Hospital or Emory. But to get a full view of healthcare, a lot of times these students need exposure to the real world, I would say, and to how this is actually practiced in the real world, not necessarily in a training center with residents and senior residents and students of all kinds. They go out into the real world, and basically it's not really job shadowing. They actually let you start to work depending on how far along you are and what your capacities are and your interests.
So does this tax credit, does it pass off, like in your son's situation, does it pass off to him or does it pass off to the person?
Oh, no,
who
it's to
works
the
for him?
it's to the physician or nurse practitioner, if they're training a nurse practitioner or training a PA. It goes to the individual who has the practice somewhere in Georgia. So they can take a student, and if they,
Okay, okay.
up to 10 a year, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. That explains. Thank you, sir. So, kind of like an apprenticeship program that we got.
It is,
Yeah,
it
okay,
is.
thank
And so an obstetrician will take 5 or 6 months worth, and will, rather than pay them $1,000 to precept somebody, to accept someone by doing the tax credit, they actually get the full value and don't have to pay federal income tax on it. So it's a nice way to do it. It's the most efficient way for our medical schools to get this very needed training done, and it does get them outside, once again, outside of the tertiary care medical centers into the real world.
And we both received training and we gave training as part of our job for many years, and I know I never got anything for that. That's just part of it, but that's not working now.
Well, it's not quite enough, I think. It's, if you want to get a consistent and have people dedicate themselves to doing it in a high quality way where the schools can better predict. We keep adding numbers of med students to a lot of our schools, whether it's
The
Athens,
foreign
Augusta,
schools, right.
Mercer, Morehouse, all of them are adding Mercer.
All right.
Yeah.
Senator Estevez,
Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I was going to make a motion to pass.
if there's no more discussion, we can. Second. Motion is second to approve the bill. As he stated, it's got a cap, it's got a sunset and effective date on it. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Looks like it's unanimous.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I think you made a big difference in keeping those more and more medical students trained, and I appreciate it.
All right, did you have somebody carrying your bill?
We talked about it last year, but
We'll get with you on that and make sure we're good on that. Okay, we've got Representative Sands here. If you want to come up and try to present for him, he had narrowed down some language, or we can punt it till tomorrow.
I don't have a
Let's
copy.
let's get him a copy of the bill if we could. 1020. Yeah,
I'm gonna be sure I have one of those handles.
I think what he had given us, he had changed lines in 28, 29, he'd made it just for 2 years. If I'm correct on that, is that correct, Ledge Counsel? Christie, thanks.
Oh, so basically a sunset provision, is that?
Yeah, he
Indirect
had changed it for 2 years. He had provided information on which basis it was. Come to think of it, he hasn't been here for either time it's been presented, has he?
Well, I
He
know
had
what
his second sponsor do it the last time, so.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I know his time has been in demand, but I so enjoy being in this seat. I'm so glad to take his spot.
Yeah.
You're in a different seat, by the way. I'm used to seeing you over here, but I think the intent of the bill is that we have let industrial tracts that are owned by development authorities, so to speak, or publicly owned land to actually get the incentive. I think they're trying to get to that tier 1 status if it's privately owned as well. And again, this helps develop in and around our military installations, develop our aerospace, like in our area, or some of our other military privately held and owned organizations that support our military.
All right, this one's will of the committee, so, any questions, any motions?
I know it's important to Chairman Saines based on the
I
fact
can
that
tell
he's
it's really important to him.
close to,
He's celebrating on the golf course or somewhere, I guess, I don't know, but,
perhaps he missed the agenda. I don't know, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
I
but
think-
I
I
do
think
know
we had a
that he has a
conversation.
base down there that is very important to him, you know.
all right. All right, anyone want to make a motion on this?
Since it involves Camden County, I'll move to pass.
All right, is there a second? Second from Senator Hickman. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2. Raise them one more time over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Opposed? 8. 2, 3. All right. Motion carries by the slimmest of margins. If it was one closer, I might have had a tiebreaker vote. I don't know. It might not have done too well. All right, we've got one more meeting tomorrow. I'd hoped to get to the film tax credit today, and I've gotten an incredible amount of help from lobbyists and everyone else on this bill, and so we're still fine-tuning it. And we've got maybe 2 or 3 other issues as well. Anyway, I think with that, meeting will be adjourned for today. Thank you very much.